Hello, hello, and welcome. My name is Lee Cara, and this is Unleash Your Light. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to take just a moment to make sure that we are cooking with fire and invite a few of our friends. I hope you'll take a moment, share out. I have a great show today. I'm very excited. Of course, we're going to talk about my favorite topic, which is loving yourself unconditionally. But so what we're going to do first, I'm going to share this out. I hope you guys will do the same. Man, it has been a crazy week. I had an amazing weekend. Those of you who are on my page, I'm sure that you saw me traveling. I went to Crabtree Falls in Virginia in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I climbed a waterfall. I found a vortex. I didn't climb in the waterfall. I found a vortex. It was amazing. It was so amazing. I put some video up on my personal page, which you're welcome to come and join me. Hi, Mandy May. Welcome. And let's see, one more. I think we're going to be good. It was absolutely incredible. I'll tell you what, there's something about the Blue Ridge Mountains. Have you ever been someplace that just feels right? Like it fills my little heart. It fills my little heart with joy. Well, I hope you guys are doing great. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Kim. Oh, we got two Kims in the house. I hope you guys are doing great today. It is Thursday, May 24th. It's a little bit after 10 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. As I said, my name is Lee Cara. This is Unleash Your Light. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Rena. Welcome. And this is all about overcoming the emotional obstacles that keep us separated from that divinity that's already inside of us. The life that we lead as we go through adds pain and scars and suffering and trauma. And these are human. This is what we're supposed to do. But when we get to a certain point in our lives, when you're awake, we want to overcome some of these emotions so that we can really embrace that divinity inside of us. Because these emotional obstacles are put there like self-worth, issues with anger, issues with jealousy, issues with forgiveness. Good morning, Haley. So overcoming those things helps you to connect with the divinity within you and truly helps you to learn to love yourself unconditionally, which loving yourself unconditionally is the secret sauce. And loving yourself unconditionally is love without conditions, right? So you're going to love yourself in your worst moments, in your ugliest moments, in your darkest moments, in those moments when you feel like you should be beating yourself up, you're going to give yourself a hug instead, right? We've been talking about this for, 2 or 3 weeks now. And if you've been watching me, then I've been talking about this for like a while now. So, but today I wanted to present it to you in a little bit different way. We've been talking a lot about unconditional love of self and how we can overcome those things and how we can, start to get into our minds and have that connection, embrace that divine within us, and really start to see our purpose so clearly, to find the peace in things, to live in the moment, to let go of all of that painful stuff so that we can really move forward and focus on the light, on the future, on the gorgeous purpose that you are here for. Thank you, Rena. I appreciate that. So, I named the show this week. Good morning, Naoshi. Oh, good night, Naoshi. Your life is your masterpiece. And when I wrote the little snippet about the show, I was thinking about the things that we subconsciously, without realizing, are manifesting and creating in our lives. We've already discussed the fact that the universe brings us situations, difficult people, difficult situations to overcome. Good morning, Christy. They bring them to us in the form of people, and these are lessons for us to learn. And the lessons that we're learning is to overcome our incorrect core beliefs about ourselves, whatever that may be, or to overcome forgiveness, or to overcome some sort of emotional thing. So life, the universe, the guides, Gaia, God, whatever you like to call it, it doesn't matter what you call it as long as you're seeking it, And so we want all of those, we want that all to be cleared away, right? So we want to be able to create an atmosphere where we're only bringing in what we're supposed to be, right? So how are we going to let go of all of these things? How do we overcome those obstacles, right? Okay, so we all also, if you're here, you know about co-creation and how the things that we're thinking affect the world around us, the issues that we have bring certain situations into our lives. So we are always co-creating along with the universe an experience that will help us to learn, that will help us to grow, even if it hurts like hell when it's happening, even if you can't quite understand why you have to get hurt to learn this particular lesson. Even if you don't quite get the logic of it, this is what we're always doing. The lessons that we need to learn, the things that we need to do, the life that we believe, the things we believe about ourselves are constantly creating a life outside of us. It's constantly reforming reality as we walk towards it in time. Okay, so the way that I got this little like message over the week, I think of it as our life is our masterpiece, right? I went out over the weekend. I was with a friend of mine, and she was talking to me about how the word masterpiece literally comes from when you would be a student and of art, and you would study under these masters, and you would work, and your masterpiece was like your graduation thesis, like the piece. So if we are the masterpiece, okay, our life is the masterpiece, right? When we look at artwork, I'm a huge art fan. And when we look at artwork, it gives us an insight into the person painting it, right? So if you think back right now on artists that come right to your mind, right? And what their paintings bring to mind. So a painting like The Scream makes you believe that that person inside is full of turmoil, right? Is full of pain, is full of angst, right? And then we go and we see other works of art that are, you know, uplifting and bright and beautiful, and you can feel the love coming through, right? So then we see that they're creating that sort of a situation on their canvas, right? Because they're painting the world around them, their canvas. They're creating from their emotional place. They're creating from their energy, from all of the pain that they've been through or all of the love that they've been through, okay? And they don't really are having, if you've ever created art, you don't really have a conscious thought, I'm miserable and I'm going to paint a miserable painting. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you say, I want to represent this pain and I'm going to put it on canvas or I'm going to put it on paper. But often there's just a general mood with certain artists that you know relates to their tick, right? To their inner workings, to how their mind sees things, to how they feel emotions, right? So their canvas, their masterpiece becomes an expression of what's inside of them, right? What they are putting on that canvas, no matter what the subject is, they are putting their emotions, they're putting their inner life outwards onto the canvas, onto their masterpiece. And their own personal emotional state at the time that they are painting that will affect everything about the painting. So when we think back at different works of art and we're looking at this concept of our lives being a masterpiece. Good morning, Stephanie. And when we look at this, good morning, Penny. When we look at this and in that sort of a context that artists are literally creating their inner life on the canvas, no matter what their subject is, because it's a mood, it's an energy, it's an art. That is exactly what we are doing with the experience around us through our own emotions, through a reflection of our own emotional, like, how we look on the inside, all the things that we're holding on to, all the things that we're not dealing with. We are creating our lives, co-creating with the universe based on what's inside of us, right? Based on the things that we think about ourselves and the things that we think about other people and the judgments that we have and the pain that we've been through. So we are creating a masterpiece that comes from our pain, right? When we look around at our lives and we think, I'm lost, I don't know which way to go, everything is a mess, we are creating an outer reality that reflects what's going on. And we're attracting into that reality lessons that will help us to grow. Good morning, Farron. Or Farine. I'm not really sure. So we need to be paying attention very closely to that work that we're doing on ourselves and make it a priority, because you are literally painting your masterpiece, your life, every moment of every day. You are literally choosing the brushstrokes that are painting your reality and who needs to come into your life and who needs to be brought in for a lesson and what needs to happen. Good morning, Teresa. Because of those core beliefs, because of those negative narratives, because of the things that she, he, you are saying about yourself, are saying about your life, are speaking into existence, are refusing to work with, are refusing to look at. Some of us can't even look at our dark places. Some of us can't look ourselves in the mirror yet. And that's what we're creating in the world. That's what we're attracting to us as the lessons, as the things that we're surrounding us with. So this is why we have to be so vigilant. Good morning, Robert. This is why we have to be so vigilant about our self-talk. Good morning, Caitlin. Welcome to the Akashic Academy. Caitlin's got a new show. And Caitlin, if you'll type in there when your show airs, that would be awesome. She's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lady. That way all of the viewers will be able to see it. I would love that. Hello, Soumya. So as we work on ourselves, right? This is what I'm getting to. I promise you, I'm talking in a circle, but I'm getting to a point, okay? The more work that we do on ourselves, the more that we are able to shift our thinking, to change our perspectives, to reframe the way that we see the challenges and the obstacles and the things that we come across in our lives, will shift our emotional state and will shift the lessons that need to come in. And they will shift the reality that you are creating all around you all the time. It is up to us to shift ourselves, to change the realities that goes on in our immediate vicinity and sometimes beyond. I'm going to talk about the beyond in my after show from 10:30ish until 11ish. I sit down on my couch. I get a little closer to you guys, and you could go to my personal page for that. I always share it on my group as well, which is called Unleash Your Light, if you don't get to see it firsthand. Thanks, Caitlin. It's Real Life Lotus Talk Mondays at 10 a.m. right here in this time slot. That's perfect for all of you early risers out there. So if we're looking at our entire lives and believing this, whether you call it the law of attraction or manifesting reality or whatever it is, we are always doing it, right? Because we're always attracting what we need to grow. And we're always attracting things that will reinforce our negative beliefs, the things that are wrong, the things that we're thinking that are not quite right. The universe reinforces. The universe reinforces those things about ourselves that we believe, but that are not true. And the reason that they reinforce those things is to force you to shift your belief to the opposite side. And it's always Whatever you're believing that isn't loving yourself unconditionally, you have to shift. And until you shift it, you're going to keep getting problem after problem after problem with that same exact thing. Good morning, Alicia. Yes, Penny, that's a great thing to do. I'm sorry. That's a great thing to do when you have a problem, okay? I actually talked about this with someone this week. When you have an issue in your mind that can go 100 different ways, right? And you don't know quite what the right answer is, and you're not sure what you should be doing, ask the question in a clear way. Set your intention that I'm going to find the right answer that is going to lead me through this the way that everything is supposed to turn out, instead of putting a specific set of ting, ting, ting goals, because it might be your journey to fail, not to succeed on this particular track. So I always say, however it's supposed to turn out. Of course, I always hope for success, but we learn more from failures than we do from success. So it's much more likely that you're going to step into something and make some mistakes. So I try not to direct it too much, but just to plan just enough. And then once I've set my intention, I need a solution to this. I trust that I'm going to be on the right path. I'm going to be doing everything that you need me to do to live my purpose. You let it go. Because worrying about the issue and spinning it in your mind with 100 different solutions does nothing except block divinity from doing its work. Because as long as you are still spinning that request, I need some guidance in your own mind, like you're going to answer your own question, divine doesn't have to do anything. It's teaching you a lesson right there. You have to ask, set the intention, and allow us to do our thing. Trust, have faith, which is one of the steps in Unleash Your Light. Have faith that it's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. Now, of course, there's a line of irresponsibility where you do have to make actions, but you have to set that intention. You have to put it in your mind, and then you let it go. Because as long as you are worrying and spinning on an issue, you are not going to get an answer that comes from divine. You're going to get an answer that comes from your worry spot, that comes from your pain, your suffering, whatever you've been through in your life, and it's going to be tainted. It's not going to be the message that you want, which is why it's always the best thing. Just ask it and then let go of the question, because you're probably not going to get an answer in the first 3 minutes of asking a question unless you're super connected and do it all the time. So you really have to just let it go, like the song, let it go. And you have to not focus on that question once you've asked it. You let it go. Maybe you give yourself a little reminder, come back to this in 2 days. And you let the universe work. And more often than not, the answer is going to be right in front of you. And here's why. Your life is your masterpiece. And so we are co-creating with the universe. And as you start to work on that self-love and you're loving yourself unconditionally and having faith that every step you take is for your benefit, that everything that happens to help you, when you are able to start shifting all of these perspectives, things start happening differently in your life. And your masterpiece starts to shift and starts to change. We look out at our futures and we want to think that there's a picture painted there that we recognize, that looks familiar to us, right? I'll liken it to my own life. I've been married for almost 24 and a half years we've been together. So I always looked out at my future and saw this very definite, this is how my story ends, and this is the person, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to spend our retirement. And I had a painting that I thought was reality. This is my truth. I set it in my mind. That's my truth. And here we go. But now I'm separated. And that is not my happily ever after anymore. Now my canvas is blank. My canvas has been blank. And little piece by little piece, it's being painted in. By each of these experiences that I have moving forward, when the synchronicities come together, when my mind gets in the right spot, And the more that I have learned to love myself unconditionally, the stronger influence I'm able to have over my masterpiece. And I don't know what the finished masterpiece looks like, but I do know that I always have the right color paint now. Well, we'll say a lot of the time. It's almost always a happy, beautiful, cheerful picture that I'm painting around me. I'm getting so many interactions with people crossing my path that I'm in the middle of nowhere, out in the Blue Ridge Mountains in an antique bookstore. And I meet a woman who is totally into exactly the same things. Her neighbor is a sound practitioner. We had this big long conversation, and she turned me on to 3 or 4 more spiritual places in the Blue Ridge Mountains to go to. Amazing. What are the odds out of all of there's probably 15 or 20 antique places up and down this road, that I would just happen to go into this place and just happen to have a connection with her. She went to the same college that's here in the town where I live at, and started a conversation. Because my situation is painting my masterpiece. Because the thoughts that I'm having in my life are attracting people and places and things that are supposed to be put in my path, so I can keep delivering the message, which is what my particular purpose is. Your purpose is going to be a little bit different. Your purpose is going to be what your life is about. But the more that you work on yourself, the more that you are able to truly love yourself unconditionally, which you know that I had to come back to that topic. It's my favorite topic. We've been talking about it for like 3 weeks now. The more that you love yourself without conditions, the more that you love those corners and places, and the more that you embrace that divinity inside of you. Hello, Wendy, welcome. The more that you love yourself, the more that you are loving the divine within you. And when you are finally able to love yourself unconditionally and embrace that divine, then you are literally integrating with that divine spirit within you. And I've said this before, a lot of people think that to talk to your higher self, you have to like leave your body and do meditation, and you have to do, all kinds of crazy stuff. That divinity is already a piece of you. It's already inside of you. And all you have to do is welcome it. It chose you for this life. It chose you for a human experience. And it loves you exactly as you are. And when you open up and embrace it and love it, that's you, yourself, love your own divinity, you will feel its love back in a way that will blow your mind. Absolutely. There is a bottomless pool, a bottomless source of unconditional love that each of us can tap into, because we're all connected to it, because it's the energy of the universe. I do too, Penny, all day long. It's just me here most of the time. You can tap in to the love of the universe, literally the giant beaming well of unconditional love, anytime that you need it, just by loving yourself unconditionally, just by loving yourself and embracing that divine and knowing that you are worthy of carrying that divine within you, and knowing that you are worthy of whatever purpose it is that they've put you here for. Because if you're here and you're awake, you have a purpose. You have a purpose. And the more you can listen, and the more you can love yourself, and the more, yes, I always answer my own questions. How else do you learn, right? The more that you listen to yourself, the more that you love yourself, the more that you embrace yourself, the more clearly you hear that piece of divine within you. I was saying last week on the show that absolutely, Claire Louise, I agree. It is absolutely beautiful to listen to silence and feel the peace. Absolutely beautiful. I was speaking on the show last week about it's like getting into a relationship with yourself. And I've heard other people say this before. You're getting into a relationship with yourself. But here's the thing. When you get into a relationship with another person, There's a honeymoon period. You are attracted to them. There's pheromones. You're all nicey nice to each other. And you have a honeymoon period. When you choose to start loving yourself unconditionally, there's no honeymoon period because you are probably starting from a place where you don't like yourself very much. You probably say really bad things to yourself. You probably don't really want to be in a conversation with yourself or spend time with yourself. And you're looking at yourself and you know every bad thing you've ever done. And you think, I would never be in a relationship with someone like you. But that's exactly what you have to do. So you get into a relationship with yourself where just as you would learn another person and learn about what they've been through and offer them compassion and offer them empathy, just as you would counsel another person, you date yourself and you start doing that with yourself and you get into a relationship with yourself. And instead of starting out at the honeymoon period, you start out with the divorce. I was talking to Vin last night about that, and that was the phrase that he came up with. You start at divorce. You start at, I hate you. I don't like you. I don't want anything to do with you. And this is where we start at when we love ourselves unconditionally, because we have a lifetime of beating ourselves up. We have a lifetime of punching ourselves in the face and kicking ourselves when we're down. And now we need to reach down to that person that we just kicked and give them the biggest hug ever and fall in love with them. You have to fall in love with yourself. You have to fall in love with that person that you have been beating the crap out of for your entire life. And it is hard when you first start out. Being in a divorce where you're arguing, that's hard. Starting out in a divorce and learning to love someone, luckily, it's you. So you can't get away from yourself. There is no actual divorce. And you're forced to spend time with yourself. And once you decide to do this, don't turn back. Just because it's hard, just because you fight. No, there's no divorce. You are with you as long as you both shall live and beyond that. So you need to make sure that you are working on that relationship that you're having with yourself, that you are loving yourself, right? And then at the end of the relationship, or after you've been in it for a while, then you're like, yes, I love myself. Oh, I'm so in love, everyone. Then you can go around and be happy, happy, happy. But you're going to start out in a hard part. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. Learning to love yourself unconditionally is a very difficult place to be. And somebody commented back here about to love yourself before truly loving others. Yes, in a way. I actually disagree with that in some way, because people say you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. I say you have to love yourself before you can be loved by someone else. Because the people who hate themselves are usually the most loving towards everyone else. And so you can put out as much love as you want. It will never save you loving another person. It will never save you. I know this from personal experience. I loved so hard and forgave so hard and tried so hard to find my salvation in another person's love, in another person's healing, in the relationship with someone else, that if I can just do this, that will prove that I'm a good person. That'll prove that I am worthy. But that's not how it works. It is that relationship with ourself that has to be right. And then everything else falls into line. So you can love other people, but they will always feel something is off. And you will never be able to be truly loved because you don't deserve it. Because you feel like you don't deserve to be loved. If you can't love yourself unconditionally, then why would anybody else love you if you're not good enough to love yourself? So we block and sabotage love from other people. We'll probably talk about relationships next week, like relationships, next week on Thursday. It's definitely a deep topic when it comes to love and forgiveness and shifting your perspective. it can get pretty deep and painful. But that's for next week. For this week, as you start to love yourself unconditionally, your masterpiece, your life will start to change. Thank you, Nori. It will start to change. It will start to shift. And the paintings that surround you, your life, will start to look completely different because they're reflecting the work that you're doing, the hard work that you're doing inside. So pat yourself on the back for doing some hard work. And remember that your thoughts are creating your life, your reality. Your thoughts are creating your masterpiece, the masterpiece of your life. So start from a clean place. Start from a joyful place. Start from a place full of love. And the life that is created, I mean, it's wondrous. It really is. It's absolutely beautiful. I know every single one of you can do this. Just pay attention to your thoughts. Be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend, yes. Love yourself. Take that time. Seems like it wouldn't affect much. What does it matter what I'm thinking in my head? Nobody can hear me. You are creating your life with the things that you are thinking in your head. And if your life is your masterpiece, why not live in a beautiful piece of art, right? All right, let's do some business. I'm pushing up on my time here. You can always find me. I have a group and a page called Unleash Your Light. This is my name. I'm going to go and sit on the couch for a little while and talk about this in a bigger picture, and how the masterpiece of our life on a grand scale, on a global scale, how we affect that. You can also find me at unleashyourlight.org. You can get copies of my 2 books there for free on PDF copies of Simple Spirituality of Self, which is about loving yourself unconditionally, exactly what I love to talk about. And then my first book, Unleash Your Light, which was the easy steps to get yourself over those emotional obstacles, or at least to get the door open for you to get over them so you can connect to that divinity within you. Right here at the Akashic Academy, we have some great shows. Today, we have at noon Eastern is Arena with the Rainbow Bridge. And then at 7 Eastern, we have Andrea Stepnowski with the Sacred Chakra Flow. She's got great information on crystals and that sort of thing. We always have something amazing here at the Akashic Academy. And our director, Emily Harrison, has an exclusive group that you could join where you could get even more stuff from her personally. Channelings and meditations and breathing exercises and full moon ceremonies, and Coach Nick does Mindful Mondays, and they're working on so much new stuff. To join the Akashic Academy, to become a member, to get access to the exclusive stuff behind the scenes, you're going to go to askyourrecords.com and search for the Akashic Academy. And it will give you information on it. You can also reach out directly to Emily Harrison, which she's always in and out of these broadcasts. You can just click on her name and write her a little message. I'm sure she's happy to set you up. It is $11.11 a month or $100 a year. That's the deal. I always like a bargain. And you can also sign up for the newsletter. You can get the magazine for free. It's got a lot of great resources in it, articles by a lot of great people. And, it's a beautiful thing. I feel so welcome here, and I'm so grateful to be able to come to you guys here every week on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So I'll be right back here next week on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And like I said, you can go ahead and join me on my couch. I'm going to go over and sit down and get comfy with my coffee, and we'll chat for another 20 minutes or so. I'll love every single one of you. And pay attention to the world that you're co-creating. Pay attention to the masterpiece that's being created by your inner life. The world outside of you is a reflection of your inner life. So paint a beautiful masterpiece. It's your life. Excellent, Kim. I'll make sure I go in there and approve it today. Thank you so, so much. And I will see everyone next week or on the couch if you come and find me. Bye, y'all.